Hey everybody, Marcel Ernie Racing. Today's top story, a massive defeat for Ukraine. Today I'm doing this story on February 19th, 2024. So Ukraine has withdrawn from the town of Avdeevka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The town is now in Russian control, giving Russia an advance of 8.6 kilometer control of the new territory with an area of 31.75 square meters. The Russian flag has now been raised in that area. Here you have on CNN itself a little video of it. Block. Retired colonel explains.
Avdeevka is the name of the town that's in the middle of the lower part of the Donbass region, and it's at the junction of the Eastern Front and the Southern Front. So this is where everything comes together. So the Russians have taken over this town. They could potentially use this as a means of advance through this area, and that would then mean that they could go this way into the heart of Ukraine if they have the means to do so.
So, this is a major loss for Ukraine, not only of territory, but of lives. Russia says that Ukraine has lost over 1,500 service members, 190 in the last day alone. Ukraine is not admitting this. However, military spokesman Dmytro Lykhoviy said on Thursday that they were just moving troops around to, quote, more advantageous positions, end quote. Bringing them home would be a more advantageous position. These are untrained people who are forced to fight, often under the influence of drugging, to regain land that does not want to be Ukraine and hasn't for a long time due to the decade-long abuse from the Ukrainian army. Russia says that it is also making headway in the areas of Kransy, Liman, Kherson, and Kupiansk, according to TASS. Since the special military operation began 2 years ago, quote, the Russian forces have destroyed 571 Ukrainian warplanes, 266 helicopters, 12,723 unmanned aerial vehicles, 470 anti-aircraft missile systems, 15,098 tanks, and other armored combat vehicles, 1,222 multiple rocket launchers, 8,091 field artillery guns and mortars, and 18,801 special military motor vehicles. Wow, like just put that in perspective. 266 helicopters, 571 warplanes. Yeah, the military industrial complex, guys. This is just a small little piece, fraction of it. All the money, all that money that could go to good, any excess money is in the military industrial complex. So essentially, that's the whole idea of perpetual war. War is peace. War is never ending. Any money, excess money, goes to this military industrial system, building fortresses every 5 years. The old fortresses are worth nothing. All this stuff is just keeps spending money. So there's no money to help the people. Like, this is what it keeps the people just barely functioning, just enough, right? You can learn about this in the book of 1984. I recommend everybody read it or listen to the audiobook on it. But the U.S. still wants to send more. President Joe Biden is pressing hard to get past the $60 billion bill that would renew aid to Ukraine. The president told Ukrainian President Zelensky that he's, quote, confident we're going to get that money. Who is we? Biden and Zelensky? Question mark. We isn't Americans, right? No, of course not. President Biden has been using the death of Russian politician Alex Navalny to prove his point about fighting Russia. Only Navalny was no hero in Russia, and he lies about him. And the lies about him are too many to count. We broke those down, many, many lies here. Let's take a look.
Is mourning the death of racist and xenophobe Alexei Navalny as a hero and a victim of Vladimir Putin and his regime. Now, they're doing this to sell you a war with Russia, but if you look into who this guy truly is and how little we know about what happened to him, you will not accept this as a reason for any war. Now, Alexei Navalny died in prison today after reportedly suffering from a blood clot because it was easy to use it as a hit to Russia and Putin. Let's tackle just these 4 questions. Number 1, was he really a hero worth championing? Number 2, was he poisoned specifically by the Russian government? Number 3, was he wrongfully imprisoned? And number 4, was he actually Putin's main opponent? A lot of this comes from Jacques Baude's great book, The Navalny Case, Conspiracy to Serve Foreign Policy. Was he a hero? Even the West knows that he wasn't. Here's a Salon.com article from as far back as 2017 calling him no progressive hero. He was basically, they said, the Russian equivalent of a white nationalist. He hated immigrants. They called him the Russian Trump. They said that liberals, well, if they studied, which they don't, would hate him even more than Steve Bannon. Here are a couple things. They say he's anti-immigrant, especially when it comes from newcomers from Central Asia. They say that...
Yeah, just to interject, guys, the irony is so strong. And then you have an actual political prisoner in jail because of the USA, Julian Assange, like where the hypocrisy is just so massive. The Democrats will keep Julian Assange, who actually revealed war crimes by the USA and Britain. And he's still in jail without no trial, 2 years now.
Was he poisoned by the Russian government for being in opposition to Vladimir Putin? Well, the alleged poisoning happened on a flight from Tomsk to Moscow. His entourage said at first that it happened with tea, but the tea was brought to him by his own colleagues. There was another weird story about underwear. When no one could corroborate that, later they said it was from water bottles from the hotel. They said that they actually took these bottles to Germany for analysis, but airport security footage shows that the luggage was checked. There was never any bottles, and the German government never said that they looked through any bottles, so that was weird.
So it sounds like the first, when the stories never add up, there's no concrete story, there's just like a bunch of fluff. So yeah, we question everything, right? That's as simple as that. Now they're going to talk about the actual drug, Novichok, and where's it produced? Well, it's not used by the USSR, apparently. Let's listen.
Novichok. This is interesting, and guess where it's kept? According to sources, Novichok has been found in several NATO countries, including Germany, the United States, Great Britain, Czechoslovakia, and Sweden, and has been used for the purpose of research and the development of antidotes. As early as 1990s, the United States has filed nearly 140 patents on chemical weapons of this type. And as early as 1998, the American Chemical Weapons Laboratory in Edgewood synthesized Novichok.
Oh, yeah, and the last bit is a former FSB director and DEMA deputy. A small stockpile of Novichok existed in Ukraine. Anyways, they could be using it as a false flag, as a good possibility, just like all the false flags done by the USA. Oh, yeah. Anyways, guys, let's move on. All right, guys, we're going to leave it there. You can certainly read the book or go follow up on it if you like. I got to get out dirt biking. So this is Ernie Racing News, guys. The military-industrial complex in full swing. It always has been. Keep on keeping on.